Yo people, welcome back to another video. Now this will be my WrestleMania 41 predictions. As of right now, there's probably one or two matches yet to be officially announced, including what's happening with Randy Orton. He'll probably win that match anyways, and it's also WWE's fault for not having the full match card ready, as we are less than 5 days away from Mania Night 1. I'm going to be giving you who I'd want to win and who I think is going to win, so let's get started. I'll start with Night 1 of course, and we'll go in with the New Day versus the War Raiders. Now, the only reason I think this match is even on the card at WrestleMania instead of the SmackDown tag belts is because I believe we will see the return of Big E. Now, this can go one of two ways. Either Big E will cost the New Day the belts, which I hope doesn't happen because we need the War Raiders to lose those belts as soon as possible. Triple H hold that L for pushing these guys. Or option number two, the New Day wins the match and then Big E attacks them after, and potentially with a new partner setting up the start of their new feud. I personally would prefer the second one because the New Day needs the belts immediately, especially after that big heel turn that they did, and it just injects new life into the tag team division on Raw. Next is Rey Mysterio versus the spicy Chad Gable, and honestly, I wish we had a more meaningful story build to this because they could have made it personal in terms of fighting for the culture, and the winner will be the real representative of the luchadors and all of that stuff. Leader can take over all of the wrestlers, the LWO, something like that, something to up the stakes, but instead we have a very base level feud. I do believe that at some point in this match we'll see Chad's mask fall off or get taken off, and it will be revealed that it's him, even though we already know this. But overall, I don't have a preference as to who wins, but I do think Chad Gable will win this. Let's move on to Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really care about this match in terms of who wins, only because this feud dragged on for a while in terms of revealing who attacked Jade. I think Bianca should have been involved in this build as well. I know she's doing the other match, but she was very important to this dynamic, and the fact she wasn't there, I think this feud loses a bit of that third party element. And to be fair, Naomi has actually been doing some of her best work in this feud to actually keep this feud entertaining as well. And I will say congratulations to these women for being the first women's match at WrestleMania that doesn't involve a title, but I think the winner will be Jade Cargill. Next up we have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Now, I want Jacob Fatu to win the title as he's one of my current favourites on the roster, and I believe he will win it unless Solo Sikoa costs Jacob the match. I really hope Jacob doesn't get made to turn into a face. I think that's the direction that they're kind of teasing, but I think he'd actually benefit more doubling down as a heel and have him turn on Solo. I'd much rather Jacob wins the belt, turns on Solo, and he could even use one of those quotes that Solo used, that whole "there's consequences to losing," which is what Solo said to Jimmy and Paul Heyman about a year ago, so it'd be ironic if they flip it on Solo. Moving on, we got Jey Uso versus Gunther. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy, but I want Jey Uso to win this. I have a theory about how he could turn heel and be the third member of the Rock's faction. Link will be down below in the description if you wish to go check that out. The problem I have with Gunther is that he's been a bad champion. He's been booked very badly and very boring. The stocks of the World Heavyweight Championship have gone down massively under him, and he brings nothing to all the feuds he's had. He's defending the title like 6 times in 8 months, which is pathetic. And Jey can at least bring some hype, fresh energy to the title if he wins. Also, he doesn't have to be a long-term champion. He could lose it in 3 months. People know he's not going to be holding that belt for like 6 months, so it keeps it fresh. He's going to be a short-term champion anyway, and overall it will just wrap up his whole main event Jey storyline perfectly, and then we can move on, and I personally want to see a heel turn from Jey Uso at some point. The next match is Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, and to be honest, after the unprofessional promo we had weeks ago, I lost interest in this feud. Before, I wanted Charlotte to lose. I didn't want anything else but just her taking that L. Now, I don't care. Overall, I think Tiffany Stratton will win this match, although a loss for either of them leaves them in a bit of a difficult situation because it makes them lose a lot of momentum. Charlotte only got back into this position because she won the Royal Rumble, and she's kind of expired. The crowd just doesn't like her. This was really the last chance to win if she doesn't. And as for Tiffany, she only really got here again because she cashed in the briefcase. Nia Jax didn't even get her rematch, and she hasn't really done anything memorable with the belt, and in my opinion she's actually declined with the belt. However, let's see if WWE chooses to invest more stocks in her. This W alone will show us that they want to take her to the next level if possible. But overall, I think Tiffany wins. Last but not least, for night 1, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. I've said it for a while. I might have been one of the first people to make a video about this, but I think Seth Rollins will win by turning heel with the help of Paul Heyman. I can see him being more likely than Jey Uso to join the Rock's faction. I have also uploaded an updated version on Seth's heel turn. Link will be down below in the description if you want to check that out as well. But I think it just has to be Seth that wins this. He gains the most from this win going forwards. It changes a lot of the dynamics for WWE in general with a Seth Rollins heel turn. We know some of his best work ever has been done as a heel. Him back at the top of the wrestling world, chasing a title again as a heel. It just makes sense. Let's move on to night 2, which is Bayley and Lyra Valkyrie versus Liv Morgan and Raquel. An absolute useless match that I personally don't care about. I think Liv and Raquel will retain this, but the only thing to keep an eye on is if Bayley turns heel on Lyra after losing the match. But Lyra is honestly so boring that I don't care if it happens. I just need her to drop that Intercontinental title as soon as possible. Next is another boring match in Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Now, this one, it doesn't have any belts, but I will guarantee you one thing. They're fighting for whoever loses this match can kiss goodbye to the main event scene forever. And this is why I believe Damian Priest will lose this match. He will go back into the mid-card. I'm not a huge fan of Drew McIntyre, but respect where it's due. He had a bigger year than Damian Priest, and he's been carrying for the last few years without any titles, so massive respects just for that. And I do believe he should be getting a bigger match or some sort of bigger rewards for all the work he's put in. The next match is Bron Breakker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor versus Penta for the Intercontinental title. First time the Intercontinental title is being defended as a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania, and this is probably the match I'm interested more based on the outcome because I'm not 100% sure who's going to win this. I can't give you a definitive one. I've had to think about this, and all I know is that Finn Balor will not be picking up the win. I have a video where I discuss the possibility of Penta turning heel and joining the Judgement Day. I have one where Bron Breakker joins the Judgement Day. Link will be down below in the description as well. Some people have said even Dominic Mysterio might win this match, but personally, I think he's only there as a plot device to cost Finn, betray him, kick him out of the Judgement Day, and whoever wins this match will be the new member of the Judgement Day. So personally, I'm going to go with Penta winning the Intercontinental Championship and joining the Judgement Day as that new member that Dominic has been alluding to over the past few weeks. Moving on, we have AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Now, I have such a bad feeling that Logan is going to win this, but I'll only accept this L for AJ Styles if in the process we see a heel turn from him and he proceeds to beat the shit out of Logan Paul after the match. Logan has never actually been in a real brawl or done anything of that nature, so I'd like to actually see him get battered for once in a brawl to the hands of a new heel turn AJ Styles. Now, the penultimate match, and it's the most overrated match in my opinion in this whole card in terms of story, in terms of build, and that's Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. And overall, I think and I want Io Sky to retain. If not, then they literally just gave her the belt so that she could be at Mania and lose, which is stupid in my opinion. I think it makes more sense if we see Rhea versus Bianca as a long-term feud without the belt and let Io keep the belt and face people like Roxanne Perez or whoever's available, whoever comes in from the draft. We could maybe see Jade Cargill and other new wrestlers. I do think it will be tough for Io to retain because she's up against Bianca's Super Cena booking and Rhea's Hulk Hogan booking, so Io is likely going to eat the pin, but I'm going to go off of hope that she wins this. I've said for years I'd love to see Bianca Belair turn heel, and she's already getting booed for no reason, so if she won this way then I'd actually prefer this to happen, but it's very unlikely. That leaves one more match, which is Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, and if John Cena doesn't win this match then the whole heel turn was pointless. I'm personally tired of Cody Rhodes getting away with bad promos, barely fighting, barely doing anything, so if you want a champion that barely defends and does anything, you might as well give the title to part-time John Cena. I think they'll do an Avengers type of cameo thing like last year's WrestleMania where Undertaker joined. I think we will see heel Seth Rollins if he does turn heel and win that match, by the way. He will help John Cena, we'll see The Rock, maybe Roman Reigns comes out and helps Cody and that causes The Rock to attack Roman Reigns, setting up the early foundations for The Rock versus Roman. I think The Rock v Roman will definitely begin its early foundations here at WrestleMania, whether it's from Seth turning heel with Paul Heyman in night 1 or at night 2. I think this is the perfect opportunity to start the early foundations for it. But yeah, as always, let me know your thoughts and your predictions down below in the comments. I'd appreciate if you could hit that like button, sub to channel 2 for more WWE content. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.